In this video, I'm building every unofficial Fortnite LEGO set ever created to find the internet's best and worst LEGO Fortnite creations. Some of these are cracked out and others probably shouldn't exist. But you be the judge, because first up we have an item that LEGO never made. The Fortnite pickaxe. Is it out of proportion? Yes. Is it stuck to this Lego rod? Yes. But does it look cooler than this Lego element? Also yes. And if you said yes to all three of those things, then congratulations. You're now eligible to hit the like button and continue watching. So let's get into it. One of the best parts of Fortnite is securing a new skin. But if you don't have V-Bucks, then you might be stuck with default Jonesy. And this one looks pretty defaulted, right? Fortnite? More like Fartnite. Anyway, this Jonesy looks much better, minus those orange lines on his face. Honestly, the print is kind of beautiful. As for weapons now, we have quite the assortment here, from ARs, SMGs, snipers, drum guns, pistols, and shotguns. But I think this is the Scar, so that's going to Orange Face Jonesy. Default Jonesy here is just gonna get his default pickaxe because these ones are way too sharp and we don't want him getting hurt. They cut through paper, it can separate bricks, and even remove the crud underneath your fingernails. Seriously guys, make sure you're cleaning out your fingernails. Because our next illegal skin is Tracker from Season 1, and he looks like he's just seen a grizzly bear tear apart his favorite stuffed animal. So we better give him a pistol for protection. And maybe a shotgun. The Merry Marauder is a pretty cool looking skin too that actually works really well as a minifigure. This one ain't too bad, so I'll give him an SMG. Skull Trooper here is another solid minifigure, and he gets a sniper. Now that we have our squad and default Jonesy, my name is Jeff. Let's work on our first location, which if you couldn't tell by the skin so far, of course you guessed it, it's gotta be Tilted Towers. And I don't just mean the iconic clock tower, but the entire, okay, actually just a few of these buildings. Mostly this poor building that keeps on getting destroyed. First by a meteor, then it was rebuilt into a fishing shop just to be flattened by Kevin the Cube. Then it was rebuilt and destroyed by the cracks. Until the No Sweat Insurance Company was constructed to cover natural disasters. This is, of course, before the volcano wipes tilted off the map. And all of these events can be recapped inside the building in its own little museum that has been perfectly replicated here in LEGO, showcasing the volcano, Kevin the Cube, the meteor shower, and the buildings crumbling sideways, which is just one of the 4 rooms in this LEGO No Sweat Insurance building. You can find the instructions for this on rebrickable.com, along with all of today's builds, which I've linked in the description below. Now, underneath this building is actually a parking garage, which has been recreated here with 2 parking spots. Unfortunately, by the time that you put on the next layer, it does become a bit too small to actually park a car inside of. Walking around to the front, there's a big staircase, which has also been created in LEGO, leading into this tragically narrow hallway. Still accurate though. But this is the cool part, because this entire set opens up to reveal the 4 rooms inside. On the left, we get some office desks and a water cooler, and above that is a break room with a vending machine. On the other side, there are some more detailed desks with notes probably about insurance claims, and a chest. But we're not done yet, because there are still 2 more buildings included in this set. Up next is the apartment complex, seen here on the map. To build this in LEGO, there are a bunch of dark tan plates stacked between tan bricks and Nuga mason bricks. There's a wood floor and this radiator, and this small room which has a washer and a dryer on a beautifully tiled floor. Walking up these elegant stairs leads us to the 2nd floor, which has a small bedroom with a bed and a chest. Unfortunately, most of the stairs to the 3rd floor get covered up by this wall, but you'll find a nice comfy couch and an outdoor patio with a shaded dining table. How elegant. There's also a chest on the roof, and this build definitely beefs up the town. But we still have one more build in the set, and it's the pizza pit, which you can recognize by this iconic green awning and the sign out front. Recreating this in LEGO, we have a lovely red, green, and white checkered floor, just like in the game. For the furnishings, there's a refrigerator, a workspace, and a counter, a table and chair for customers to eat at, and some pizza on the floor. The other side of this fine dining establishment, established for dining, is MacGuffin's bookstore, which is represented here in LEGO by this little newsstand in its own area of the building. On the 2nd floor, there's a chest on top of a bunch of pallets and an ammo box. The next couple of floors here are actually pretty boring in the game. So continuing up, we've got some railing, which is seen in the upper levels of the building, and on the top of the roof, you'll find these HVAC units, which use a ton of grill pieces. And I think this turned out really well. Maybe it will even inspire you to pay closer attention to those details in-game. Now, next up is this boxy maroon car that is definitely not meant to haul anything in the trunk. I fixed this, however, with a couple of 2x3 plates, and now we have a fully functional truck. There's a sidewalk with the lit billboard and a lamp post section, and with all of this together, adding up to almost 3,000 pieces, I still can't help but feel like we're missing something. Of course, the clock tower. So I downloaded the next fake Fortnite set, and after building it, it seemed a little small.
Back off, should we play it safe? Nah, you think let's make it bigger!
I designed the back of the wall of the clock tower to be easily removable to place figures inside. For the clock faces, I used panhandles on dishes and attached it to the side of the tower. The top section is also somewhat removable, meaning this town is ready for action. So let's build up another squad to take on Team Jonesy. Here we have Tomato Head, and LEGO really needs to make this an official figure because this one looks a little goofy. Not as goofy though as Default Renegade. What's up, brother? We are twins! There's Blue Team Leader from Season 2, who also looks a little derpy, but nothing is as derpy as Technique's face print, whose eyes are printed onto her forehead in order to see out of this atrocious hood. Lastly, to finish off the squad, we have Battlehawk, who actually looks surprisingly good. Like, the torso print is great. I assembled Tilted and placed in both squads with their, NPC derps. Hey, where's Default Jonesy? Gathering resources. You know this is no build, right? Skull Trooper goes in for the no-scope sniper shot and takes out Technique, but then gets blasted by Tomato Head. Faced with a 1v1, Tomato Head takes the win over Jonesy, but before his teammate can get rezzed, Tracker takes out Blue Team Leader right before going down. Default Jonesy, come save me!
Bruh.
Default Renegade takes fall damage, and it's just down to Battlehawk and Merry Marauder. And before Battlehawk could snag the win, DJ swoops in with the Scar and wins the Victory Royale. Comment if you've ever had the NPC get the game-winning shot. Hold up though, there's still one last thing to make this a real fake LEGO set, and that's give it a proper professional packaging design. So I turned to this AI LEGO box image generator and typed out a very specific prompt, and here we go. Okay, not a bad start. I tweaked it a little bit to include the clock tower, and what's with this random satellite? And where did these cars come from? Only include 3 buildings and the clock tower, and no satellite towers, please. Okay, this appears to be only 4 buildings, but what's with all the satellite towers?
Excuse me, what the actual...
Honestly though, the background's really pretty, and you can kinda tell what it is if you lean back and squint your eyes. I tried to do this one more time in a desperate attempt, and then this happened. Honestly, that was so bad I passed out due to disappointment. So please collect my Reboot card, because next is this Reboot van made by Geek Bricks that I loosely followed with the parts I had on hand. And it actually turned out pretty decent. I printed out some Reboot icons and illegally stuck those onto the side. And since this isn't in the LEGO Fortnite Odyssey game, I'd be shocked to see LEGO make this into an official set. But we all know what happens after you get rebooted, and the first thing you need is Shield Potion. And you can make a life-size mini pot using some clear curved panels, window pieces, and clear slopes. This was designed by Brickanick, and he made the cork using some tan rails and slopes. And since I didn't have the exact parts, I just placed in a stopper to stop the stopper from falling too far down. You know what I'm saying? Then I just filled it up with about 2 or maybe 3 or 400 blue studs, and there we have it. If LEGO were to make something like this, how much would you pay for it? And already we have all of Tilted Towers, this weapon stash, 2 squads, a Reboot van, and a life-size prop. But I still have a ton more custom builds that I want to show you, but keep in mind that May 2nd is the Fortnite Galactic Battle Star Wars event, and I want to build some cool stuff for that. So these are going to have to wait until part 2. And that means that if you have a custom Fortnite build that you want to see me try out, let me know in the comments where I can find it, and maybe you'll just see it in part 2 of my fake Fortnite LEGO sets, made with real LEGO, of course. I just called them fake because I didn't want anyone believing that these images were real, you know? Very convincing. So anyways, in the meantime, go watch another one of my videos.